My friends, this is a fishbowl, but it is not just any ordinary fishbowl. This one is very different. As you can see, it does not have the normal things that regular fishbowls have, like fish or water or really any of those things. But it does have rocks that are fish safe, a little fishy plant. It's plastic, it's not real. And this one is even more special because in this are dozens and dozens of amazing topics that we could sit down and discuss as friends hanging out here in the office. And what makes it really cool is we're going to add something to this fishbowl here today. Now, I know, the suspense is killing you. What could we possibly add to this 1 in a million fishbowl that does not have fish or water or other fishbowl things? We are going to add these. These are your questions that you have left on our other videos that you would like to see answered in the fishbowl. So I have typed them all out. I have painstakingly gone through all of your comments, pulled them out, put them onto a little piece of paper. So because we are the cool kids, we're going to sit down here and have an amazing discussion about an amazing topic. I'm going to cut all these papers out and I'm going to put them in said fishbowl. We are going to draw one at random and then talk about it like friends. What will be our fishbowl topic of the day? Well, I don't know. Let's find out.
Step into the fishbowl, dive right in, where the chats are deep and the truths begin. Life's real.
If my mother is watching, she's going to be so disappointed because I am cutting these papers so sloppily. Mom, I'm so sorry. It is not very appropriate. I also knocked the little plant out of the fishbowl. But in order to be an accurate fishbowl, obviously it needs to have the plant down in there. So let me shimmy that guy back in there. We want to make sure that we're doing the fishbowl appropriately here. Okay, I have a fishbowl with a bajillion different topics in it. They're all related to conversations as Christians that we should be having, and we should be having through a biblical lens, because here on Heavenly Minded Home, we cover the messy stuff. We cover all the things that most people won't even touch, but we do it right here. And we're doing it in a really fun way where we just put them into this cool fishbowl and I draw a topic. Okay, this is only the second time I've done this. The first time, I thought it was just going to be a fun idea, and when it came time to draw, I realized it's a little terrifying because there are a lot of topics in here that are really big topics that a lot of people don't want to go out publicly on the internet and talk about, but they're important. But it's a little nerve-wracking when it comes time to draw them because I have no idea, and we're just going to talk about it like friends. Here, cover it. Let's do this thing. Dramatic, dramatic, dramatic. We're going to do this one because this is the one in my hand. It's silly, but I'm like so nervous to look at what this topic is. This one comes in from my precious friend, Sabrina. Sorry, my glasses are like a mess in this. My precious friend, Sabrina, who you guys have been missing. She has not been able to be on any episodes lately, but we were talking. And as she was talking, I was taking notes because things kept standing out to me. And I was like, this is a conversation that we need to have. Like, these are real conversations that we should be having with our friends. And as she was talking, I wrote it down. And then this went into the fishbowl as a potential topic idea. And what it says here is, do it scared, do it depressed. Everyone else already is. Friend, make a cup of tea. Come sit down. I know this might seem kind of vague off of this, but it's a bigger conversation that you and I really need to just hear. So now that you've got your cup of tea or cup of coffee, whatever it is, and you're ready to sit down just as friends and have these conversations. Again, the strip here in the fishbowl says, do it scared, do it depressed. Everyone else already is. My oldest is 20. He'll be 21 this fall. He just started college. My next child is 14. She'll be 15 this November. I have a 12-and-a-half-year-old and a 7-year-old. Something I think we are seeing so frequently with especially our children's generations, even if you're watching this and you're in your 20s, right? You're probably dealing with stuff like this too. And not that I don't think it doesn't affect those of us who are older. I think there's just been a very big change in how generations past were raised versus how people are raised today. I think there's many reasons for this. I think the infiltration of the internet and social media and parents' disconnect. I mean, I think there's a lot of key pieces to go in this. This isn't like a one size fits all. But what I think we see so often is with so many people, but especially I see this with younger people, so like 20s down, is that there's so many things that people are running into. And you comment down below, right? Be like, hey, I'm this old and I'm still doing the same thing. I mean, maybe it's just me that thinks that it's happening more with the younger generations, but this idea of, well, I'm too scared to do that, or I'm too anxious to do that, or I've just been too depressed, right? All of these things that are stopping people, like normally healthy people. I'm not talking about like a specific circumstance that is clearly the reason why they're not doing the thing, right? I'm talking about average people who are constantly having these roadblocks that are stopping them because they're too scared to do it, because they're too overwhelmed to do it, because it seems too uncomfortable or too out there. I think what's really happened is because we have the internet, people are doing so little face to face. And I get it. I'm guilty of that too. If I want to order food and I have to call versus putting it through an app, I will eat somewhere that I don't even want to eat because it means I can put it in on an app and not have to like call and like do the whole thing. So I'm casting lots at myself, in this whole thing too. But I think many of us have gotten so comfortable in doing things that don't involve us having to be face to face with another person. Most comments that I receive on YouTube that are those nasty, horrible, awful comments, I guarantee you those people are probably not saying things like that to someone else's face. Maybe some are. But it's really easy to do that when it's just a screen. And so when I am looking at things and, needing to branch out, needing to go do this or go do that, and it feels really scary. Our son just enrolled in college. I'm going to use him as an example. Sorry, buddy. He was really nervous about doing this because he's kind of given himself a little bit of a gap since graduating high school and was trying to decide what he wanted to do. He had been doing some teaching through our co-op we had. He had been doing, he wrote and published a book. So he's been doing a lot of things, but he was feeling stuck at where to go next. And it was getting very overwhelming and very scary. And so he came up with the idea of, maybe I do just want to go to school and spend some time kind of just working on different areas and seeing where I want to go. But it was really scary. And to branch out, he's been homeschooled. I mean, he went to kindergarten and first grade in public school and has been homeschooled ever since. We, work from home. We've been in family ministry. We've done all these different things. And so we have a very kind of comfortable space at home, but rather pulled away, obviously, from the intricacies of the world. And so he was feeling really unsure of himself, of how am I going to do going and doing all of this stuff? He was really nervous about himself. And that was really weighing him back in so many different ways. And I told him, I said, do it scared. Sometimes you just got to show up and you just got to bite it in the booty and, move on. Like, I know that's probably like the worst example I could use, but sometimes we say it's like, sometimes you just got to do it. You just got to go for it. And I know it's scary, but it's going to be scary until you do it. And so he's thought and reflections he has made since starting school is most everybody that he's there with, I don't think anybody actually, like everyone that he's there with comes from government education, public schooling, things like that. Most of them are traditionally educated young adults. They don't speak to one another. They don't even respond when the teacher asks them questions. In fact, in all the things that they've done, he has been the only one answering questions, asking, follow-up things, kind of engaging in these different ways. And he kind of chuckled about it. And he was like, that's so crazy. I was so nervous that I was going to be at the disadvantage and I was going to be odd man out and I was going to be the one having the issues. Like, that's what was holding me back. But now that I'm there, that's not the case at all. Sure, there's still things that It's scary. It's uncomfortable. He's never been in this environment before. He's never done these things before. And now he's like on his own and different things are going on and he's got to work through all these things. Like, it's new. And there is a certain level of anxieties that we face when we're doing new things. Any of us feel that way, right? I hate walking out of a store and not remembering where I parked and having to like search around for my car. I hate that. So when I go to the store, I park in the same place every single time. If you ever need to find me, right, which I guess probably shouldn't say that on the internet, but like, I am a creature of habit. I park at the same place. I go in the same door. I do the same things. Like, if I was ever in the mafia, I would be awful for many reasons, but one being the whole, like, always trying to mix it up so people couldn't trace your steps. Like, I would be awful at that because I just stay the same, because I have learned that I hate that, where am I? What do I have going on? I've got the kids. I got all the stuff. I just, all of the like chaos of it. I hate doing that. So I just stay very regulated so I don't have to. But we all have those points where the first time is scary, is overwhelming. And sometimes you just got to do it, because the only way to get over how scary or overwhelming or just seemingly impossible something might be is to go and do it. Is to conquer that, slay that dragon, and realize that it wasn't that big of a deal, right? You survived. Even if you struggled, those were lessons you learned. And I think what we're seeing so often today is this kind of overwhelming mentality of, oh, I'm too scared to do that, or I'm just too anxious to do that. I'm just too depressed. We're stuck in our own heads so much that the thought of just jumping in and having to go for it, no thanks. Because I think, thanks to the internet, we all have far more options than we used to. Even post-COVID from pre-COVID, so much more now can be done online. So much more can be, teleconnected versus having to go and be in person. And so I think that's just added fuel to the fire, where people now have these natural feelings of anxieties and worries and just stresses in whatever. We all have them. But instead of having to face it, realize it's going to be okay, and work through it and beyond it, we almost can cater to those stresses, fears, worries, sad, whatever it might be, and then stay almost consumed by it. And when we realize that, looking through all the generations, right? I'm sure the generation of youngsters going into World War II, those that went through World War I, were looking at them and going, oh, you kids. You know what I mean? Like, they had that. You look at what, those who went through World War II looked at the kids in the 60s, we're like, oh, you kids. Like, we see this over and over again. But I think there's a lot to learn from it. I look at things that I'm going through with my children, and I'm like, man, back then, that wasn't even an option. Like, yeah, I remember when the internet came out. We had the internet in the 2000s, but like, it wasn't then what it is today. I didn't have that choice. I was stressed out like crazy when starting college. I had graduated early, got married and had a baby, moved to my own home, still went and like walked and graduated with my class, and then started college the next month while tending my own home, having a new baby, trying to be newly married, right? Doing all those pieces. And college for me was an hour away that I had to commute. So there were lots of pieces that I was juggling and doing all of that. So when I think of this, that my son is going through now, I go, you're right. Like, there are a lot of things. Back then I didn't have any options. You couldn't just do stuff online. You couldn't just, like, those things didn't exist. I was scared. I was worried. I had lots of stresses and things, but I knew that if I wanted to better myself and I wanted to continue on, that's just what I had to do. There weren't any choices. I couldn't stay stuck in my own head and stuck in my own issues. I had to just go for it. And then I did it and I realized, oh, okay, this isn't that bad. Like, I can do it. Sure, I had struggles and hardships and things that happened, and I would have to find solutions and work through them. But every time I did that, I grew a little stronger. There's no such thing as failure, because anything that doesn't pan out the way we think it should usually is a blessing from the Lord, but it's a lesson. And as long as you learn from that and apply that to trying again later in whatever circumstance it may be, then there's no such thing as failure. And so are you going to come across things that are scary, that are stressful, that you don't want to deal with because you are dealing with depression and anxiety and hard situations? Yes, absolutely. And if you are seriously dealing with overwhelming any of these things we just discussed, it is important to seek help. It is important. I think every single one of us should be in counseling. Every single one of us needs therapy. It is a fantastic thing to have someone that you can truly talk to and work through these things. Check out local churches. See if they have counseling programs. It is a wonderful, wonderful thing to be able to have. Okay, so number one, therapy, counseling, very important. Number two, if you are seriously dealing with crippling depression and anxiety and imbalances, go and see your doctor. Get help. Your mental health is important. We are physical beings, yes. We are spiritual beings, absolutely. And we also are mental beings, right? We're emotional beings. They all work together. And so if you have things that you need to deal with, you need to deal with them. Absolutely. Get the help you need. Work through those things. But at the end of the day, know that we are all going to be facing things for the rest of our lives that are scary, that are overwhelming, that we don't really want to do, that we don't know how to do, that we've tried before and failed at, and are back having to try again. That's life. It's not a destination, it's a journey. In this adventure that you are on, because yes, I choose to see life as lovely as I possibly can, because my days are incredibly imperfect and incredibly stressful. And so I'm going to choose to look for the most positive thing I possibly can. There are things that are scary. There are things that I don't like. There are things that are making me so sad in the deepest inward pit of my being that I honestly just want to run away from it and pretend like they don't exist. I want to be an ostrich who shoves my head down in the sand and nothing else exists. That happens, but I have to go through it anyway. And I think that that's something that isn't being said enough. When you're looking at generations now that can't even make eye contact, people that walk around with their headphones on all the time so they can't even hear what's going on around them, people that can't even engage in just common pleasantries, when we're too busy, too wrapped up in our own heads, that nothing else around us is coming in, and instead it just turns into a terrifying, overwhelming monster that we don't want to deal with, that's a major issue. I think the internet has been a huge game player in this. I don't think it's the only cause, but I think it's been a huge key piece. And I think it's something that we need to start talking about and bringing up. What is it that you are facing in your life right now that is scary, that is stressful, that makes you so sad and overwhelmed that you just want to curl up in your bed and never come out, right? What is it that you're facing with that? Because God didn't give us a spirit of fear. None of these things come from the Lord. Those He calls, He equips. And I think that that's a really important thing that we need to start remembering, that these things are probably going to feel very overwhelming and very scary. And the further that we keep trying to distance ourselves, the bigger our minds and the enemy keeps making them out to be. Yet when we go, Lord, okay, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. This is terrifying. I'm going to dip my toe in the water. Okay. Lord, I made it. Okay. I'm going to put my whole foot in, right? The next thing you know, all right, it might not have gone perfect. Might not have been exactly what I wanted. I might have stumbled a little bit, but guess what? Now I learned. Any of us who have had kids, teaching them to walk is difficult. They need a lot of help. But at the end of the day, our kids never learn how to walk if we don't let them fall. If they don't learn how to catch themselves and get back up, they're never going to learn how to walk. How often is that us in life? Where we're so scared of what stumbling or falling or bumping our heads on the coffee table might feel like, that we just go and insulate ourselves in whatever little bubble we try to create to hide from that. When instead, we can move forward, take our bumps and bruises as they come. We might be scared, But the most important thing, we taught our youngest this when he was little. Every time he fell, we would teach him to get up and shake off his hands. Because we say, hey, buddy, it's okay. Shake it off. I know you fell. It hurt. It's okay. I'll give you a kiss, right? If you hurt your hand or whatever. But you just shake it off and let's keep doing this thing. You got this. I believe in you. And it would be so cute. He'd toddle around and he'd fall. And we lived in the desert, so it was rocks and sand. And I mean, it would grind up your hands. You fall on that. And he would get up and sometimes he'd come over and I'd kiss his little hand. And then he'd shake it off and go, okay, shake it off. And he would continue on. But how much do we need to be doing that in life? We're going to have those struggles. We're going to have those obstacles. Get up, shake it off, Lord. Help me learn the lesson I need to learn, right? And let me try again. Because now I know how not to go do it, right? Because when I did it that way, I fell and I wiped out and I so hurt myself. I don't want to do that again. Do it scared. Do it depressed. Do it filled with anxiety. Do it uncomfortably. Just get out and do it. Stop allowing these things to make you feel so small and so held down. I think most of our children are facing this a lot. I see this in kids. I see it like 20s and down. I see it all the time in people that I mentor with and I talk with. But again, I know it's not exclusive to just younger people. How can we step out? If you're good at this, how can you step out and help mentor and pour that into someone else? And if you're struggling in this, how can you learn from something like this that we're talking about here, apply it to your life, and move forward? Learning those lessons, stepping out in that faith, knowing that the Lord's going to equip you as you move through. So second fishbowl, it was a fun one, a little different than the last one. Do it scared, do it depressed. Everyone else already is. Don't let the enemy get so in your head that he keeps you frozen. The Lord did not give you a spirit of fear. He equips you, he encourages you, he gives you strength. We have to step out and take it though. We have to step out and say, okay, let's do this. And I pray that this today can be an encouragement for you. But let me know, right? These are supposed to be conversations. So as I'm talking, feel free, comment as we go, share what you think. Now, if you have a question that you would like to see in the wonderful fishbowl back there, leave me a comment, put a little fish emoji next to it so I know you want yours added to the bucket there. And we're going to keep doing these throughout the week. We've got some amazing topics as our goal here is truly to tackle those messy things of life that I know most people don't want to go out publicly and talk about, but they're important and they matter. So let's take them through a biblical view and say, how do we handle these things? Let's just be raw and honest with one another and tackle the topics that really can change our lives and those around us. I love you all. I'm praying for you. Anything I can ever do, reach out, let me know. We got great resources going on. We got free Bible studies, all kinds of cool things, and all of that's down there. You guys check that out. Let me go ahead and leave you a little more that I think you'll appreciate, and I will see you all right back here in the next fishbowl. Bye, friends.
Step into the fishbowl, dive right in, where the chats are deep and the truths begin. Life's real things with a splash and a spin. Welcome to the fishbowl, let's begin.